Hi everybody, let's learn how to do a crummy roll in a nearly stock Piper J-3 Cub. Why is this roll crummy? Why am I still going to show you a way to do it? Let's go fly and find out. So while we're building up some speed, let's talk about the setup here. The Cub is not an aerobatic airplane, but it is certified under the old Civil Air Regulation 4 standard. This allows us to fly this way. Ensure you have required parachutes aboard, clear your maneuvering area, and complete Hazel checks. Also, it's not a bad idea to have a little accelerometer handy so you can calibrate your gut and butt feelings to accurate G loadings. Also, don't go out and just start flying aerobatics on your own without training. Take an aerobatic course. Later on in the video, I'm going to be talking about how the Cub compares to a Citabria, because a Citabria is what a lot of people learn how to fly basic aerobatics on. So now that we're coming up on 110 miles per hour, we're at our entry speed for the roll. The stock Cub has a painfully slow roll rate compared to the Citabria or a Cessna Aerobat. So we have to do things a little bit differently to get the plane through the roll. Our goal is going to be holding a heading more or less through the maneuver. We don't have inverted fuel or oil, so that cuts down on some of our options. Our limit RPM is low. Our maximum speed is only 10 miles per hour over our entry speed. Our roll rate is slow to begin with, and as our speed decays, our roll rate is going to deteriorate even more. Since we're maneuvering, it's important to remember we can't make a direct speed to angle of attack comparison. So while I talk about roll rate versus speed, it's important that people don't conflate this with roll stability and roll control at low speed, high power, high angle of attack conditions, like a botched go around or something like that. All right, enough talk. Let's start this thing by looking at our wingtip, and we're going to do a 3G pull to about 45 degrees nose up. Once the nose is 45 degrees above the horizon, we'll move our eyes to look ahead of the airplane over the nose and apply full aileron input. For this one, we're going to go left because it's a little easier to go left. You might notice that 45 degrees nose up looks a little bit high. Compared to other airplanes like the Citabria, it is a little bit high. As speed decays, so does our aileron roll rate. We can compensate for this a little bit with rudder. So right about now is when the roll starts to get a little bit crummy. With the plane's roll as slow as it is, if we unload the wing a little to get around the roll, we'd wind up bottoming out our oil pressure. That's bad for an engine. So the rudder allows us to pull the stick back to maintain a quarter to a half G without our heading dishing out too far off our reference line. But we're talking about being uncoordinated, upside down, and playing with our angle of attack for effect, all while the engine is generating power. So be ready for a spin recovery. That's part of the fun. On that note of recovery, the backside of this maneuver will have the plane picking up speed. Remember to avoid rolling and pulling at the same time. The Cub is stout, but you still want to inspect your plane thoroughly before and after maneuvers, wires on the tail especially. Now let's watch this at real speed. As a reference point, we're going to use that shiny lake out there in the distance. Dive to 110 miles per hour. 3 to 3.5 G pull to 45 degrees nose up. Look straight ahead and roll. Cheat with rudder. Maintain just a little bit of positive G for oil pressure. Because we are holding that positive G for oil pressure, the roll is going to dish out a little bit, but only about 10. I encourage you to go out, fly, and expand your capabilities. But you have to know the risks in order to manage them. That means you really need at least an aerobatic course before you go out and try any of this. Give yourself enough altitude, don't paint yourself into a corner. To experiment confidently, you need to have escape options ready and you have to be comfortable using them. That means spins, half looping out botched maneuvers, stuff like that. The Cub is very forgiving of errors, but we don't want to take this for granted. Assess the risks, mitigate them methodically, and work your way towards, but not past the edges of your capability. Please don't be impulsive about this stuff. And if you've got a clip-wing Cub, those are much better aerobatic performers. Use normal techniques with those. Don't do what I'm doing with a clip-wing Cub. Well, hope you had fun. See ya.